Hello YouTube, I wanted to make a quick video about flat towing your vehicle. I've seen a whole bunch of videos online and I didn't like a lot of them. I got some of the information that's useful, but I want to give you some additional information. Now I gotta make a legal disclaimer, this is not a legal advice. This video is for educational entertainment purposes only. Now I got this truck, which is Dodge Ram 1500 2004. In case you wonder why I'm talking so fast, it's my third time recording this video because I don't have enough memory on my phone and it keeps flaking out, so I got to make it quick. Now this truck got stolen. I got it stored in the storage facility, and it had cameras, they had all kind of bells and whistles. They still stole it. Insurance company totaled the truck and they paid me good money for it, made some money on it, and they let me keep the truck for 500 bucks, which I think is a pretty good deal. I can replace the bumper, the camper shell at the junkyard, or just replace the the glass, a little bit of body work, step nerfs. They damaged the mirror, the steering column got broken in. I got the Dodge sign came off, and then they wrote some unprofessional stuff on my headlights. But anyhow, this is a good truck. It's fixable, it's drivable, and I'm gonna fix up, and it's still gonna serve its purpose. But I had to transport it from Atlanta, Georgia to Phoenix, Arizona with my van, which I already fixed up, which I made it. Yay! It's a long ride. It was blood, sweat, and tears. There was a couple options to transport the truck. U-Haul was my natural first choice because I've used U-Haul before. I towed, with this particular truck, I towed a Ford Ranger, which is a lighter truck, and I towed it with a dolly cross country. It was all fine. Unfortunately, this particular truck is too heavy for the dolly. And anyhow, the dolly is expensive. It's 500 bucks to rent it, go cross country. You can buy the dolly anywhere $1,300 to $1,700. But it was not an option for me. I was out of money, so I had to come up with something else. They do also offer auto transport. Unfortunately, this particular truck does not qualify for auto transport as well, because the wheelbase of this truck is 160 inches and the U-Haul allows 153 inches maximum, 7 inches too long. Now you can also get this truck transported with a semi, which is probably going to be the safest route, but not the cheapest. Now if you go on the safest route, which is the semi, you got to use also some little tricks, because these agents and brokers, once they put you on the board, once they put this particular truck information or your name and the direction where this truck is going, that's it. Nobody's going to negotiate with you no more. They're going to look up on the board, say, oh, this truck is going somewhere, and then that's it. They're not going to talk to you no more. So if you shopping around, I recommend don't give out your initial information. Give them like your John Doe name, and give them like a similar vehicle information, but not the exact vehicle information, and give them a general direction. Maybe not like Atlanta to Phoenix, maybe, I don't know, something, Los Angeles or something. Give them something different, general direction. You get the price. Once you figure out the good price, then give them the right information and then pull the trigger on it. But anyhow, all these things were not an option for me, so flat towing was an option to me. I've seen a bunch of videos about flat towing. The video that I got the most out of it's a gentleman, I don't know his name, but he had a truck called Blue Nose, and he was towing an old F-150 with his truck, which was doable with a regular flat tow hitch. Now there's different names for this particular hitch. Different companies call it different name. They call it a frame bar, a tow hitch, something, because it's got a shape like a letter A. Now they call it flat tow hitch, flat tow bar. Essentially, it's the same thing. Now, this hitches, they come rated for 5,000 pounds max. And it says never exceed 45 miles an hour on the smooth roads and 20 miles an hour on the rough roads, which I was going a lot higher than that once I got a little bit more comfortable with this particular truck. Now, this truck's too heavy. I got to tell you, this truck, I looked up online the information on the truck. It's between 5,800 and 7,600 pounds, depending on the modification. Now the sticker on the door says 6,600 pounds, but I'm not sure if it's the actual weight of the truck or it's combined weight with all the bells and whistles and then the maximum capacity of the truck. So I didn't know, but anyhow, this truck weighs a lot more than 5,000 pounds. Now how much more, I don't know, but this particular hitch is rated maximum for 5,000 pounds. So since I was using the hitch incorrectly to begin with, I had to make sure that if this vehicle were ever to get off my vehicle, at least it's not going to kill somebody. So I had to come up with a whole bunch of additional safety procedures and safety modifications. So if it gets off this particular ball and it yanks it, it's going to stay put. It's not going to go anywhere. It's gonna be my headache from then, but it's not gonna kill anybody. It's not gonna call, probably not gonna cause the road accident. I don't know. Anyhow, it's not a legal advice, may not be recommended, but it is doable. I've done it. You can do it too. Now, generally, just like that gentleman said, the vehicle that you're towing and the vehicle you're towing it with has to be generally heavier than the vehicle that you're towing, which my van, this is, by the way, GMC Savannah 3500 diesel 6.5 liter V8, very powerful engine, very powerful transmission. It's an older truck from 2000, but I got it all fixed up, nicely painted, all new parts, and I was particularly sure about the truck. I had everything's done, all the maintenance done, and the truck was ready to be sold, and I had to do one last job before I was going to sell this particular truck. It's a cargo van, so AAA won't transport this truck. Keep this in mind. Actually, AAA won't transport this truck either out of the storage unit. Once they know that it's a storage unit, they won't touch it. So I had to go get to the junkyard and get this U-Haul hitch, which I got it off the same vehicle. And generally, this particular hitch costs about $250 and about $250 to install it, which in my case, I got it off the junkyard for $40 and installed it myself. It came with a wiring, with a set of wiring, which I also connected. I already removed the wires, but it's not that hard to connect, and I'll tell this a little bit later. Now, additional things that I invested in my towing endeavor is this particular ball. Okay, now you can get a regular ball, which is a 2-inch ball, and they usually cost about $25. It's either U-Haul or Walmart sells them. I got this one, which costs $160 at the Tractor Supply. Now, this particular ball is not designed for this particular setting. This is designed actually for a wheel. So when the wheel comes over, then this thing goes over and it locks it. But it also locks this particular, and it gives me additional safety because this is not going to come off. So this mechanism is holding this particular A-frame, so it's not going to come off. So if it's yanks or something, it's not going to come off. In addition, it comes with this particular pin, which this what holds under the pressure, this ball, okay? And you cannot take it off either because this pin is holding it in place. I also wanted to invest in the chain. Then this particular hitch did not come with the safety chain. I don't know if it normally comes because there's some hooks here. I got this hitch off Craigslist for $50 in 2018. Threw it in the storage unit. Figured I'm going to use it someday. At the time, those hitches were selling for about $250, between $169 and $250. Now we're talking April 4th of 2024 today, and I told her about a week ago. Those hitches I sold on sale at Harbor Freight for $89, and at Tractor Supply, believe it or not, had it for sale for $42, but nowhere in Atlanta were to be found. 20 stores that I called and looked up online, you know, none of them were available. So they advertised them, but they didn't have them. Maybe they sold out too quickly. I don't know. But anyhow, I had to work with my own hitch. I needed to make sure that it connects straight to the frame. I watched different videos. People do all kind of stuff. They drill holes. They come up with different brackets, do all kind of modifications. I didn't want to do with any of that nonsense. I want to connect straight to the frame. Now, you want to remove the bumper off your vehicle. Some vehicles may have the frame sticking out from underneath the bumper. I've seen some Fords, some GMCs that the frame's actually sticking out from underneath the bumper. Maybe you don't need to remove the bumper. In this particular case, I had to remove the bumper. Now, you got to watch the video on YouTube, how to remove the bumper. And then it's really not that hard. In this particular vehicle, you just disconnect these two bolts. The bracket comes off. All you got to do is disconnect the wire that connects to the fog lights, and boom, it slides out, and here you go. Here's your frame is exposed. Now you got to be careful about that video because the video talks about how to disconnect the fog lights. It usually talks about how to replace the bumper. In your case, all you got to do is remove it, and so once you're done with the tow, you want to put it back on and get on with your business. But I wanted to connect it straight to the frame. Now, this particular hitch came with itty-bitty bolts like this, okay? So obviously not going to go for the frame, so I had to invest some money into the bolts. These are 1/2-inch, 5.5-inch long hexa bolts, which I also had to invest in the nuts. These are locking nuts, okay? And these particular locking nuts basically got the vinyl coating inside, and they're not easily coming off. So you got to have two wrenches to, you know, screw it in or unscrew it. You know, basically it's solid. and it's not going anywhere. Okay, now let's talk about the chain. I wanted to buy the hitch, even a Tractor Supply had it. I probably would have bought it so that I don't have to spend money on the safety chains, but I don't know if they came with or came not, so I had to invest in a safety chain. Now the safety chain goes through the frame as well. In this particular vehicle, the frame, you could see, goes here, so I got it connected straight to the frame. This vehicle is not going anywhere. If it ever comes off from the ball, which is not possible, okay, you know, by the way, this hitch is rated for 12,300 pounds. Now this is the heaviest rated chain. It's rated at 11,300 pounds. So if it yanks, basically it's supposed to hold double its size, so 11.3. Now you can only get this chain at the Harbor Freight. I think it cost me like 130 bucks. This was a Tractor Supply hitch. It was 160 bucks. You can get it at the trailer places a little bit cheaper for about 110 bucks. The only problem with the chain itself, the hooks that it had would not go through these narrow latches, or what do you call it, the hoops that I had here. So I had to buy different hooks. Now I had to make sure that the hooks thing will go through the chain, okay, and that it will go through my little hoop here, and I want to make sure it had the safety latches also. So these particular hooks, got them at some hardware store because I didn't have any time left. Everything was closing. I don't, you know, so it's a generic hardware store, but these particular hitches, they're thin enough to go through it, and they're rated for 9,200 pounds. So, you know, it did the job. I also had these particular hoops here that I connected the chain to. So all these additional precautions, the locking mechanism of the ball, the pin here, the hooks. By the way, you got to connect the hooks from the bottom, so if it yanks, it goes inside, not from the top but from the bottom. Connects through the frame, the bolts, the vinyl, so if it ever to come off the ball, it's not going nowhere. Now let's talk about the wiring. The wiring, I had to connect the wiring, which you could see right here. I had to play with it because the coloring did not color coordinate correctly. The cheapest wiring lights that I got was also at Harbor Freight, which was $26. These are magnetic lights. Unfortunately, they're not long enough, so I had to use the wires that I got from the junkyard, which gave me a little bit of slack from up to here. I had to disassemble it from the bumper, and they had to go through the wiper blades and through here and through the broken window, and because they're magnetic and this is fiberglass, it couldn't connect to the fiberglass. I had it on this particular door sitting right here, which, by the way, there's no air coming through, so they will hold just fine. So $26. If you want to invest a little more, they sell $160 wireless lights. But again, I was on the budget, so I want to make sure I could get this truck shipped over as cheaply as possible. Another little piece of advice: this is what you can get at Dick's, okay? And you can always have hot water. Get yourself a can from Goodwill or from your house that you can put on top. Get yourself a lighter. It doesn't have to be a full lighter, just as long as it's got the spark. And then these I bought at the Dick's. This one cost $29, and these cans, 230 gram fuel, comes at $6.99. It lasts about a week if you cook it twice a day, in the evening and in the morning. About a week it will last you. Now they sell the longer ones, but unfortunately the neck is a little bit different, so I'm yet to find something cheaper, but in the meantime, Dick's was my only option. Now I thought about getting the extension cords, which AutoZone sells the extension cords for $20, but unfortunately it does not come with a white wire. The white wire is cut off, and the ground basically cannot get connected. So I had them just in case I had to do something about it, but I ended up not using it. So you want to make sure there's enough slack so that the wires don't get disconnected. So initially my wires were rubbing against the wheel, so you want to make sure it's enough slack but not too much slack, so dripping down. So I had it go through here. So you use your own judgment to go on your own vehicle. One other piece of advice that I want to tell you: I've seen a lot of people towing their vehicles behind, you know, big A-class what do you call them, trailers, and then they basically flat towing them as well behind, which I always wonder, why would people disconnect the drive shaft? Why do they always drive it? And there's different opinions out there, you know. But from what I've read online, it does eventually damage your transmission. So basically the drive shaft rotates the transmission, and if you go on long distance, eventually it's going to damage your transmission. So I had to remove the drive shaft, which probably made this vehicle a little bit lighter, and allowed me to tow it a little bit more manageable. Now the drive shaft disconnecting, it's a little bit of a bitch to disconnect. Obviously you've got rusty. This is 2004 Minnesota truck, so it had a little bit of rust on it. So I had to use a big pipe to disconnect and the WD-40. And once I disconnected, it was still sitting solid. So I had to use the jack to jack it up to get it off. But everything is done correctly. Now it's up to you if you want to remove the drive shaft or not. But from what I've read online, this is generally recommended to save your transmission. Now, so this is probably about it about the video. Just want to make a quick little video. Ended up being not that quick, but I wanted to give all these pieces of advices. Now, again, if you have your money, invest a little more. Maybe go to different vendors that do have other trailers that you can transport it on. Generally the trailers cost, you can get them from like $3,500. The flat trailers. And then they come with the brakes. They go all the way up to 12 grand and more, depending. But this is very doable. This is very manageable. Now, if you've never flat towed vehicle before, I recommend you practice on slower speeds on the side roads. Once you get a hang of it, like weeks. Once I've done it for a week, I was driving like a champ. You can see that I can back it out. It's not recommended to back out this particular hitch, but you can. In certain spots. Now, in terms of safety, I recommend Love's and a Pilot Flying J gas stations. Usually, you can see, those times when you could park at the Walmart and spend an overnight, they're gone. It's not safe anymore. Walmart, is accessible by anybody else. They don't let you in several Walmarts. They don't let you stay overnights, even though I believe in 2018, their federal case, somebody won. In appellate court that you can actually spend overnight in the public places. But before it goes to all these different states and different cities got their own regulations, cops can still knock on your door with a flashlight when you're sleeping, and that's a very stressful situation. Believe me, I've been through one of those, and I don't want to recommend it to anybody else. So Love's 24 hours, Pilot or Flying J's are your best bets. So I would if you go on long distance, they're not paying me for any advertisement, but I found they're probably the safest places to park and spend the night. Now I've got the mattress inside. I've got the the boiling water. I stop at Walmart to get some food, but essentially I got it safe, and you can too. So this is the gist of the video. Just wanted to make some of these pieces of advices, and hopefully somebody can use it. Good luck to you.